How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to find out 9 things that you can find in a Dutch home, but you can't find them in an American home. So the original channel is by Dutch Americano. Links will be down below, like always. Hit like, hit subscribe while you're down there, and we're going to check this out. We're going to find out 9 things that you can find in a Dutch home that you cannot find here. Now, how accurate is it? I don't know. Have I heard of these things? I don't know that either. We're going to find out though.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava and I'm an American living in the Netherlands. And today I wanted to tell you about some things that you're really likely to see in a Dutch house, but you're pretty unlikely to find them in an American house. And I think, as always, this gives you an insight into Dutch culture and some of the quirks of Dutch people. Ava, did you say quirks? Yes, I did. Let me illustrate by starting with thing number 1 on the list. And that is, if you go to a Dutch person's house, and I don't know how to say this, but let's say you go to a white, stereotypical Dutch person's house, I find that sometimes, actually quite often, I see something that I think is unexpected as not only an American, but as someone who's also lived in India for a long time. I'm always surprised by the number of random Buddhas in their homes. It's just such a random thing. I don't even hear these Dutch people preaching Buddhism. I don't think they practice Buddhism. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I am just surprised to see these Buddhas everywhere.
Okay, so you guys got a lot of Buddha statues everywhere. Nothing wrong with that. Uh, I wonder why. I don't know. If you don't practice Buddhism and this and this and that, uh, I there's people around here that'll have a Buddha statue or whatever too, but it's not like a super common thing or anything like that. So,
And don't get me wrong, I think it's beautiful and very nice, but also kind of random. So if you have
right.
a Buddha in your house and you are a Dutch person and you're not really that into Buddhism, I am curious about why you have a Buddha in your house. And you know what?
Yeah.
If you were thinking,
Why?
Ava, you're just judging people, that is not true. We also had a Buddha in our house because my wife is a white Dutch person who also just happens to adorn her house with Buddhas. Although for her, her Buddha was a present from someone, so she kept it. And of course, I liked it. Recently, when we moved, it kind of got lost somewhere. So I couldn't find it for this video, but we used to have one and other Dutch people have them too. Now the next thing you're very likely to see in a Dutch house, but you're pretty unlikely to find this in an American house, are steep or narrow stairs or both. And let me tell you, you're probably thinking,
Older houses have them. I lived in a house one time that had stairs that were possibly steeper than the ones shown here in the picture. Um, Very steep, very narrow. It may have been built by a Dutch person. I don't know. But it's not something that you find in the more modern homes. It's mostly like if you find a house from the 1800s or early 1900s, perhaps.
Ava, older Dutch homes, of course they have narrow stairs because they had to, I don't know, be put in afterwards. Who knows what things were like back then? And I'm talking about houses that were built before the World Wars, but that's not that long ago. So when people say, oh, these old houses and their steep, narrow stairs, it's like people back then also had feet and they also needed to go upstairs. So I don't understand why the stairs had to be steep and narrow. And then second, I find that even the newer homes, sometimes their stairs are not as comfortable and broad as I would expect because I have different standards coming from the US. In America, newer homes, sometimes their stairs are not as comfortable and broad as I.
Look at that staircase. That is crazy. That is pretty steep. It's a spiral staircase, right? We have spiral staircases here. Not common. It's not something you just find and see everywhere, but they exist, You just don't see them that often, but that's a steep stairs. It's almost like a damn ladder.
I would expect because I have different standards coming from the US. In America, the stairs are a normal width, both like this, and the depth is also present so you can comfortably put your feet. And Dutch people are tall. I'm sure taller people have big feet. I don't know if this is based in fact. But
I have big feet. I'm tall. I'm 6'4", which is like 193 centimeters or something like that. Um, I wear size 13 shoe in the United States. I don't know what that is in European. Hold on. Hey Siri, what size in European sizes is a size 13 American shoe? I think I worded that weird. Well,
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Siri doesn't care. So we're just gonna figure it out later. Or just comment down below if you know. But anyways, I guess it doesn't really matter. I got big feet though, and I'm tall.
I just don't understand the difference there. And again, even in newer homes, you will still sometimes find that the stairs can be windy and they're still pretty like narrow. They're not quite wide enough for you to put your foot there. And I always have this trouble where I have just learned, honestly, even in my house, my stairs are considered normal, but I have just learned to walk on them sort of sideways. And I only notice that something is off with my stairs when people come to visit me from abroad. And then I
You don't have to walk sideways. Again, I have massive feet. I used to live in a house that had super narrow, super steep stairs, and they weren't very big stairs. You walk on the, you take your steps with your toes of your feet. You know what I mean?
see them struggling and I feel so bad because I wish I had normal stairs to offer them. But how do I tell them that my stairs are considered normal? The next item on this list is actually pretty amazing, and they have to do with Dutch windows and sometimes even doors. So the windows and doors here, you
Okay.
often have a special kind of window and door. They're more modern, so it's not about older houses. And in those windows and doors, you can not only open them like, you know, what you would a regular window, but if you turn the knob all the way up, then you kind of open it a little bit, you crack it open so that the air can come in without completely opening the window. I absolutely love it because on some days where there's a lot of wind, this is really useful because you could just turn the knob all the way up and open your window, crack it up a little bit. Dutch people also really love to air out the house. They don't like
Yeah,
it when it's too stuffy. So even in the
yeah, I don't like it when it's stuffy either. I mean, everybody enjoys a fresh breeze. I don't understand what she's talking about with the window thing. Our window's like right here. You slide it up, you slide it down. That's all it does. That's all the windows around here do. Some of them you can like lean it out, um, like when you're washing them and stuff, so you can get to the other side. Is she saying there's like a hinge here on the side and you can like open it up like a door? Like a door hinge? I don't understand what she's talking about.
winter, they'll want to crack open a window a little bit for een beetje frisse lucht. So those windows are handy in those cases. Okay, and right away, they don't like it when it's too
A beetje,
stuffy. So
that's a
even
little
in the
bit of
winter, they'll want to crack open a window a little bit for een beetje frisse lucht. So
een beetje fresh Flunde. And beetje means a little bit of. Fresh is probably fresh, right? Thunder must be wind or air.
those windows are handy in those cases. Okay, and right away I have to mention something infamous about Dutch houses and Dutch people, and those are their curtains. Well, or rather the lack thereof. But also, one thing that I've noticed is that sometimes in Dutch homes, you do have
I've heard of that most people over there in the Netherlands, they'll keep their windows open all the time, which I usually do during the day. I mean, as you can see, I have my windows open right now. Um, if I was like in a super crowded place though, and I had neighbors like right here, right, like right on top of me pretty much, maybe not so much. I don't know. It just depends on the people. Around here it's different. People are too nosy, I guess. I don't know.
something infamous about Dutch houses and Dutch people, and those are their curtains. Well, or rather the lack thereof. But also, one thing that I've noticed is that sometimes in Dutch homes, you do have curtains, but then there are these see-through types, which I've seen less in the US. In the US, I've actually often seen thick curtains or even just blinds. And here, of course, you have blinds too sometimes. But the ones that
Yeah.
I typically see in the US with the little plastic lines through them, they are less common here. And what I see more commonly
Oh,
are
really?
these see-through curtains. So I thought that was interesting. So if Dutch people have curtains, they're still see-through often. So I don't know. Some
Yeah, we have blind. I mean, I don't physically have them like right now, but most places I've ever been in has blinds, which is like she said, the little slats. You can move them up and down. You can angle them open or shut to get like different amounts of like light flowing through and stuff.
Dutch obsession about letting people peek into their lives, whereas I'm all about that privacy. Just kidding, I post stuff on the internet, so obviously my definition of privacy is a little warped. And now we're entering a whole section about Dutch toilets and Dutch bathrooms. And when I say bathrooms, I mean toilets. And this is so
Okay, so the toilet thing. Somebody sent me, I don't remember who it was, um, a book on like Dutch culture. What was it called? The Undutchables. And it's like a comedy humor based guide to the Netherlands for foreigners. So, people like me, if I was to travel to the Netherlands or move to the Netherlands, I would be able to have like a guidebook on the culture and whatnot of the people from the Netherlands. And the toilet thing is interesting because in the book it was describing some sort of a toilet flap. I guess the toilets are different in the Netherlands. I don't understand what that means by a toilet flap in the bottom. I don't know if that's what she's gonna go into here, but just thought I'd bring that up, I guess.
funny. On my Instagram recently, I asked people what they thought the most Dutch thing was, and you will not believe the number of people that had toilet related items to share. So, one is obviously, again, infamous, this Dutch toilet shelf. And I have been lucky until my current place
Toilet shelf. Okay, I called it a toilet flap. Close enough.
to be spared the Dutch toilet shelf. I only saw that when I went over to friends to visit. And now I have one of these Dutch toilet shelves myself. So lucky me. And if you are new to the concept of this Dutch toilet shelf, you're probably thinking, what is she talking about? And it is exactly what it sounds like. The toilet bowl here is not really a bowl, it is more of a shelf. So your business is right on top of that toilet shelf. You're probably thinking, what is she
Hold
talking
on.
about? And it is exactly what it sounds like. The toilet bowl here
Because that looks a lot like the toilets we have here. Maybe the hole's a little bit farther forward than what ours are. But that looks pretty close to like what the toilets are here. Like I said, maybe our holes are more centered. I don't know. It's probably so it doesn't splash, right? I mean, not trying to be gross, but I don't like to take a poo and have splashback, you know. It's pretty gross. What I do is throw a little sheet of toilet paper on top of the water first so it doesn't there's no splashing. I mean, I'm sorry for getting too personal, but I bet that's what that's for, is so there's no splashback, because nobody wants any splashback.
is not really a bowl, it is more of a shelf. So your business is right on top of that shelf. Yeah, that's all I will say about it. The other thing you will find in a Dutch toilet, and
Your
not the
business.
bathrooms where there's a shower and all that stuff, that's typically okay. But where you have a separate toilet, you're going to find in that powder room toilet, bathroom, you're going to find a little sink. Not a big sink, not a human normal size sink. You're going to find a little sink, and you're going to find usually
Not a human, not a normal size sink. She says it's not a human sink. That's funny.
just the one knob that doesn't really distinguish between hot and cold water. It's just going to be cold water. So that is another popular Dutch thing. And of course, the thing that so many people mentioned when I asked this question was, of course, the Dutch birthday calendar. We have one in our toilet as well. It has followed us through 3 different places here in the Netherlands already. Also, I've only lived here a couple of years and already I've moved so many times. So look at all
What is a Dutch birthday calendar? I've heard of a birthday circle, where everybody sits in a circle, and then you go in, and I guess you congratulate the whole family, and you go around and hug and handshake and and do all that. But I don't
The
know.
wealth of experiences I have to share with you on this topic. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about one thing that is definitely not common in all Dutch homes, but it is a characteristic of a stereotypical Dutch home, like an older Dutch home. And I have never seen this in a normal dwelling in the US where humble people just live. Maybe in like a church or something. And I'm talking about stained glass. So in a Dutch home, if you have an older home, it could just very well be possible that you have stained glass windows, original stained glass windows, or
Nice. Stained glass windows are so cool. Like, especially like the old ones. Like, they're just so cool to me.
even those sliding doors with stained glass. And these are not newer, these are old, and they look literally like you've pulled them from a church. It is incredible. And you walk into someone's home and you just see these things and you think, oh my God, where am I? And I was really surprised by this because maybe in the US they are just more newer homes than here in the Netherlands, but I was completely blown away when I saw that this was a feature of, I would say, quite some Dutch homes because yes, not for the newer homes, but for the older homes, this is a detail that keeps showing up. Okay, so now
Nice.
back to more normal things that you would see in a Dutch home. I want to actually take you outside the house and talk to you about something that I personally have not experienced in the US, and that is something that is called an achterom in Dutch, which
Octor
is
Ohm.
a around the back. That's why I had to translate it. I don't know if I'm exactly getting it right. But basically, a lot of the times people in the Netherlands won't enter through the front, they'll enter through the back of the house. And it's useful because a lot of Dutch people bike. And so they're going to use this achterom, the back way entrance, like the entry from the back of their garden,
Okay.
from the street, and then they're going to park their bike in a shed there. So that I think is a very Dutch thing, and I know lots of people love having that in their house because if you don't have this, then you have to kind of figure out another place to park your bike, maybe in the front lawn, or if you live in an apartment building, then you have to, of course, park it on the street. So if you live in a house and then you have this achterom, it's amazing. And the other thing that's
Very
related
cool.
to bikes that you will see in the Netherlands, and this has to do in the home because in their
There's a lot of bikes in the Netherlands. Like, there's more bikes than people over there.
backyard, front lawn, wherever, near their house or apartment, you will probably find that if they have the space, Dutch people like to have more than one bike. I have never even thought about this. In America, if you're a cyclist or a bicyclist, then maybe you have like your mountain bike and that's what you do. Like, or you have your, I'm not very good at bike types. You have a bike and you ride it, right? For whatever purpose you have your bike. Whereas here in the Netherlands, there multiple purposes for a bike because people are just always on their bikes. So in the Netherlands, it's actually pretty common that people have one crappy bike that they commute with. And then, that can get stolen because in the Netherlands, bicycle theft is like the most popular crime there is. Very strange.
If anybody's watching my channel and you're out there stealing bikes, shame on you. You need to stop it. What you need to do instead of stealing bikes is you need to subscribe to this channel and hit like on all my videos. That'd be more productive.
I know there's like an abundance of bicycles. The bike market is totally saturated, but still. So then you have a crappy bike that you use for everyday purposes that can get stolen, but then for more recreational purposes, you might have another nicer bike that you take out on the weekends and do longer bike rides with. So I thought
Right.
that was interesting, and that definitely explains why there are more bikes than people in the Netherlands. True fact. So those are some things I wanted to share with you today about what you might find in a Dutch home. If you think I've left anything out, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And as usual, until next time.
That was pretty sweet, guys. 9 things that you can find in a Dutch home that you can't find in an American home. Sometimes you can find a Buddha statue. That is true. And sometimes you can find the steep staircase. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts and all that good stuff. Until next time, you guys have a super fun, awesome day. Take care. Bye.